Hey y'all, today's day in the life of an entrepreneur was really awesome and eye-opening and busy. So remember how I talked about before in my conversation, I discussed working with a client and telling them that 2025 was full and that if some opportunities came up that aligned with my purpose, I would have to replace other things I was doing with the new thing instead of adding, because my schedule is so full I cannot afford to add anything. Well, today I am at a retreat, basically scheduling out my 2025, and it's more full than I already thought it was. So part of my time that I spent today was actually me figuring out what are the things I can't afford to replace, because there are things that are on my schedule for the year that don't necessarily fully align with my purpose. Those are the things that I'm willing to release if something better comes out in place of it. This was the most eye-opening experience of my day. The very fact of outlining everything that I have happening for the year allowed me to see what I valued most. And that doesn't just include the business, that includes things and events happening with my family, knowing what my children's schedule is, what my husband's schedule is. I am able to make an assessment of what is valuable to me. And sometimes those things are business related, sometimes they're personal, and sometimes they're professional development. Sometimes they're investments in my business and myself. It was one of the best things that I had ever done to put in writing. Like, I had done it in my head before, and I had done it like on a kind of a general scale. This is coming up at this time of the year, but I actually went and did a breakdown of like 365 days and wrote events for each day that I knew about, and looked at places where certain events already overlapped and had to assess which event was more valuable to me than the other. So that way, this is why this is a game changer for me, especially when you're an employee and an entrepreneur. When you're an employee and an entrepreneur, you may have events for each position that conflict. And one of the most important things when you're an employee who's also an entrepreneur is that you have to be fully accountable to your employer. So looking at my calendar and seeing events that I have coming up in my possible entrepreneurship, personal life, etc., I'm able to tell my employer or people involved in my other projects at the beginning of the year that in 3 months, 6 months, 8 months, I have this conflict. And they have to either say yes or provide their alternative suggestion. That alternative suggestion is what I get to decide whether or not I'm going to align with what they offer or whether or not I'm going to walk away. But in the end, everybody's at peace. Nobody's disappointed because this doesn't like pop up out of the blue. This is important because in life, things always pop up out of the blue. But if you have the tendency, if you have the reputation to be accountable and always transparent about what you have going on, it is a game changer for anybody, whether you're an employee or an entrepreneur. I will say, as an entrepreneur, you're going to always hear me talking about accountability and transparency. This is something that's been a big deal to me for my whole life. When I was a child, I can even remember this. I remember in school expecting people to just be honest and open and transparent about where they were on issues or in friendships. And when I became a teacher, this was a big deal as well with colleagues and students. People seem very afraid to disappoint others and just won't be clear about their capacity, what they can and cannot do. But the beauty of being able to tell people what you can and cannot do, they're able to adjust accordingly and find a replacement. They're able to find an alternative if they need to, or they're able to adjust. But that's because of me or you, whoever's the situation around, is being fully transparent about what they have going on. So that was the first aha moment from the retreat today, was planning out my calendar for the full year of 2025, what I had going on, and recognizing spaces where I could add things if I wanted to, could not add things, and where I would have to replace things if better aligned opportunities came my way. It left me feeling so safe and secure and at peace. I was just like, whew, this feels really good. The second thing we did was really begin to plan out in detail elements of our projects and offers. And this is also really important because we often make time or plan in our calendars, the things we're talking about, for the public presentation of the project we're working on or the service we offer. But we don't block out time block in our calendars, the preparation time. This is so huge. So we worked on looking at what is the preparation time that I need in order to make this thing successful. Because the public only experiences the thing after it's prepped and ready to go. But you also need time to create it in a way that makes it engaging and exciting and attractive to your target audience. So adding that to my calendar also let me know what my time factors were like, how much time I had, because now I'm fully accountable for the man hours or the resource hours it needs to get a thing done. And I'm also aware of when I don't have the time or capacity to get a thing to the quality that I want it to be, which means what? I have to hire help. So good, so good, so good. I want to encourage anybody in their life, if they have the opportunity to plan out their whole year, what you're going to do, when you're going to do it, how you're going to do it, how you're going to prep for it, how long the prep takes, who you need to make the prep successful, include personal, game changer. And this is even more necessary if you are a person who is juggling the life of an employee and an entrepreneur. In all places, you want to show up accountable, amazing, and excellent in your work. And you don't want it to look like one is causing the other to sacrifice. I have done that one is sacrificing the other. I have done that so many times. I've not been able to juggle two things, but part of that is because I've never ideated, visioned, and prepped and planned in this way. I've done the other three, ideate, vision, and prepped, but not really planned out to the T what it required to get the thing done. So I am confident that in 2025, I'm going to level up in a way like I never have before because of the work that I've put in to getting clear about what it requires of me to do the things that I have coming up successfully. Wow. However, that's only going to work if and only if I honor what I say and don't add more things to my plate. It's not worth it. Oftentimes we add more things to our plate because we feel like the things we're working on isn't going to give us the full results we need, or we don't feel like we can create the full results. But not knowing that and not being sure about that is evidence of our lack of planning. So planned out, looked at the full year of what we had going on, made a plan for what it took to prepare for each project to go live, and then actually automated and implemented several of the communication pieces for the project launches. Never, ever, ever done that before either. I'm feeling really, really excited about what it means to be prepared and ahead of the thing, getting ahead of it so you can feel present. There's an energy of safety and security that leads to excitement and engagement and just magnetism because of having ample prep time. So I just wanted to get on here and share that with you all today, that the more you plan, the more you're able to be successful, and the more you're able to manage the juggle of being an employee and an entrepreneur. It will also ensure your success when you go into full-time entrepreneurship, if that is the role that you plan to have, because you have the ability to know what it requires to be successful and then to later scale. Because ultimately, once you become a full-time entrepreneur, your goal is going to be to scale your business to the next level. And scaling is nothing but planning and prepping your team in order to, and adding more team members in order to leverage the business to grow higher. So I hope this information was helpful for you, that you can use it in your own processes. And I look forward to talking to you about more tips that make the process of entrepreneurship and employment more successful and easy. Have a great day.